When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome to Darlington, South Carolina, and round number 13 of the Moonshiners Racing League Cup Series. I'm Tony Passo. He's Matt Metler. Thank you so much for joining us here for this special edition of The Lady in Black on a Wednesday night. Matt, I don't know about you, but I'm excited.
After last week, how could you not be excited? As when we went to Kansas, and it served up the best mile and a half you will ever see at the racetrack. That last lap had everything you could want. You had to scrape me off the floor with a spatula, Tony. As at the line, the man that we had written off as his car was fading fast at the end after we thought we would see a repeat from the week before. Kenny Kapala, a thriller at the line. I'm still raving about that race. And tonight, the Lady in Back, it's throwback night. The bar has been set so high, but I know these boys in the Moonshine Racing League are going to deliver big time in prime time tonight.
Well, here's the other thing, Matt. Rumor has it, and I heard this from a little birdie a little while ago, that special clip that shows up on the Sim Racing Media Facebook page has been entered for top 10 iRacing moments of the month of May so far. It's been entered. Whether or not it shows up, different story there.
Well, I guess it's an honor even to be in that group, right, Tony?
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm thrilled to hear that this is breaking to me right now. But, you know, I certainly wouldn't get like that, and you wouldn't be off the rails if it wasn't for these guys driving their hearts out on the racetrack each and every lap. But my God, that's incredible. Would love to see it on there. can't even imagine what my reaction would be like if that actually comes into fruition.
Well, true story. But taking a look at the point standings coming tonight, with that win last week, Kenny Coppola moves up to number 1 in points, six markers to the good over his teammate Shane Davis. Barry Sanders right now in a deadlock for third with Brandon Zimmerman. And then let's go down and take a look at what's going on in 18th and 19th. Two members of Bullring Racing. I would not want to be at the breakfast table hearing those two guys bicker about who's better when they're tied for 18th in points.
Could you imagine being at the dinner table with those two?
That's what I'm saying. That's kind of scary to think about. A lot of close racing still going on. A lot of moving and shaking can still be done here, as we're not even to the halfway mark of the season yet, Matt. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's almost scary in a good way, especially with those two. At the dinner table, I would deploy duck and cover. But like you said, Tony, not even halfway. And, Kenny Coppola has the points lead. Barry Sanders, probably the sleeper right now, but he's right there within very close striking distance should the top two falter. And as we go back on further through the field, we already see some epic battles, starting to paint that picture.
We are absolutely, as I am counting 29 haulers in the infield for tonight's event. And, Matt, I don't know about you, but I think that's just under 30 is about perfect for this track.
Yeah, just under 30. That's going to give everyone a good, clean shot on pit road. It's not going to be overly congested. Given the distance of the racetrack and how everything likes to spread out, especially if we stay green, I agree. That's going to give us optimal racing conditions out there on the surface and really allow these boys to dig in and go to work tonight.
That absolutely is. Who's going to be the first one to start rolling it? Big shocker here. That is the Team Watson number 7 of Chris Spear. Throwback scream, and I'm trying to place it, but I'm drawing a blank right now. Let's see. Nick King also. Oh, that's the old Bush scheme that Buddy
Wackett, right?
Buddy Baker.
Oh, Buddy Baker.
Wow. What the hell is wrong with you? Is we got the old Nesquik scheme on Paul Whitney's car. Digging that one.
Jeff Green, I believe, drove that scheme at one point
in the Bush Series. Oh, boy. Mr. October. Harry Gant, the old Skull Bandit scheme, at one time was owned by Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham. Let's see what Shane Davis is running. The old Ernie Irvin, the old Davey Allison throwback scheme. Let's see what Kenny Coppola is running. Oh, boy. The Gold Bass Pro Shops car. Digging it.
That's going big right there.
Yes, it is. Brandon Zimmerman in the old Wood Brothers scheme. He's won that for a couple of weeks now.
It's a good-looking paint scheme.
I like it. I do
too. I have no problem with that.
Let's see what we got here. Justin Benmore in his normal scheme.
Brian Vickers in the Red Bull scheme. I know all about that because I've spent
time. Hang on to her. Well, Wortman's going to abort that lap. There's Whitney. Let's see what Davis has as he's rolling off pit road now. Not really able to place that car yet. I don't recognize it.
Dale Earnhardt right there.
Back in the old Dygaard days.
Yeah, with the Wrangler car.
Yeah, that was the old Dygaard Deuce that he won his first championship with. Ooh.
Yeah, Now, there's one you don't see every day.
No, and he's got the right number on it, too. That was the old Prime Star paint scheme.
Prime Star for Ted Musgrave.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it was.
And there goes that lap negated, unfortunately.
Yeah, negated twice. He's going to go after it, though. And the thing is, you got to be careful on your qualifying laps here because one touch of the wall and it negates the lap, even if it's a 0x touch. So only 14 drivers have actually laid a time down. Looks like an old Rusty Wallace Kodiak scheme on Daryl Klotz's car.
Yeah, when I started racing, Midnight was the car. You feared it at Bristol. I didn't find out about the Kodiak car until many years later.
Yeah, that was the old white and green number 27 that he ran. It's a Pontiac. Darren Mullins in the old Exide scheme.
Oh, Jeff Burton makes you think back to all Mr. New England there, all his wins at New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
Good looking paint scheme there on that Camaro as well.
Absolutely is. Looks like Klotz up to 17th quick, not too shabby. Okay, Hunter Carmichael, please don't let me down. What are you running? The Wheatie scheme.
The Wheatie scheme.
Nicely done, young man.
And he extra bonus points there on that one, Tony. Because
oh yeah.
That was clean.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And even got the font right. And another throwback Kodiak scheme, Darren Mills. That was the 83 version of that car, I believe. Getting back to Klotz as he's turned some more laps. Flirting with the wall there, calling it one. Hunter Carmichael up to 4th. Solid lap.
That was a flyer.
Still waiting on about 9 more cars to lay times here in qualifying. Jameson Middlemas unfortunately negated both his laps.
Yeah, so that's going to really make things a little bit more difficult there for Middlemas, as he's now going to have to start towards the back. How about Chris Vanderplatz in that 10 car, currently sitting 17th on the pylon right now? We haven't seen him yet this season. As he makes his return, he's going to have his work cut out for him tonight. Coming back to this series, and then you add the Lady in Black on top of it. This is really going to be a good test for him this evening. Interested to see how he performs tonight under this kind of pressure.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a fun one. And then we've got one Raw rookie, first ever time with the league in the 11 tonight. That's Paul Gallimore. His first start with the group. So, you know, there's another wild card to throw into this mix. As did we take?
Great qualifying effort though. He's starting 9th inside the top 10. Well done.
Interesting paint scheme on the 21 of Sullivan. If you ask me, he kind of, you know, swung and a miss there. He's got a Ford. He's driving a 21. How could you not go with a classic Wood Brothers scheme?
You have 80% of the work cut out already done.
Exactly. Just, you know, get somebody to recreate your sponsors in the right color font.
Yeah, the Wood Brothers.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you're saying that's one of the oldest teams in NASCAR. The Wood Brothers, they've been around forever, ever. Leonard Wood and those guys, you remember them probably in most recent history for their miracle 2011 Daytona 500 victory with Trevor Bayne in the car, was the youngest winner, I still think to this day, to ever win the 500.
You are correct, sir. As you know, Matt, let's take a quick look at the weather conditions coming into tonight as we're waiting for drivers. Oh, there we go. The boss man finally starts to roll it. Oh,
the 88 is looking great.
The old throwback midnight drive-through McDonald's scheme that Bill Elliott made famous. But taking a quick look at that weather, I'm not as concerned about that weather as I would have been any other time, because, I mean, we're relatively cool conditions, partly cloudy skies. That 37% water grain, these engines are going to be making max horsepower right now. You know, and only 104 degree track temperature. I say only is, what am I thinking? But still, you know, we've seen hotter, we've seen greasier.
Yeah, when I ran this track the past 2 nights in a row, this track temperature was well over 104. It was between 115 and 120. And you want to talk about holding on for dear life. I would have given my kidneys to having a track temp at 104. But you're right, Tony. That's certainly an area these drivers are going to have to watch. The wind virtually non-existent, between 1 and 2 miles an hour. Low water concentration only at 37%. This car needs as much horsepower as it possibly can make, and it has that optimal conditions, like you said, at 37%.
Sanders up to 12th on his second lap. And these guys are quickly running out of time if they're going to lay a time in qualifying. But yeah, Matt, you hit the nail on the head. It's only 104 degrees. Think about what it was on Sunday when we started that broadcast. It was 135.
Yeah, we know what that did to the racing early on. It gave these drivers headaches and fits. So certainly these guys in the Moonshiners Racing League, they're starting off with a little bit of some help from that lady, if you ask me.
Absolutely. It looks like they picked the right color lily to present to the lady as they came into the building. As Jordan Schmitz in his Mustang takes the green flag for his qualifying attempt. Doesn't really look like a throwback scheme to me, but hey, so be it.
No, not a throwback scheme, but I still love that mirrored out finish on that race car.
Yeah, absolutely, and that burgundy really makes the chrome accents pop.
I agree. Well said, Tony.
So Matt Mack and Caden Nofree, Aaron Matthews, Jeff Carson, John Bender, and Nicholas Atwood all not going to lay times here at qualifying. Schmidt's first lap, 10th quick. That's one of the quicker ones we've seen, since we've gotten past 10 cars. It's one of the quickest first laps we've seen so far. Let's see what second lap's going to do.
Yeah, 29.39 that lap. Let's see what he picks up, like you said, Tony.
Oh, he doesn't get it. Waited too long.
Oh, he had a good lap going there, too.
He did.
Just a little too late.
He was purple in Sector 1, but let's take a quick look at tonight's starting grid. Shane Davis setting quick time with a 29.129. 46 thousandths to the good over Randy Mullins. Kyle Holden, the Chi-Town hustler himself, going to roll it off from inside row number 2. He's going to be joined with the kid, Hunter Carmichael. Kenny Capola and Tim Wortman going to start from row number 3. Wayne Bowden and Darren Mullins going to start from row number 4. Row 5, Paul Gilmore and Gilmore, not to be confused with Paul Gilmore.
Or Happy Gilmore.
He's going to be starting inside row number 5. He's got Jordan Schmitz to his outside, rounding out the top half of the field, Chris Spear and Chad Sullivan.
I'll take you the rest of the way through the field tonight. Starting 13th, Head Chief in Bottle Washer or HMFIC. No matter how you slice it, look for the Sandman, Barry Sanders, to be big here at Darlington. He starts 13th. From Dark Tempest Motorsports, that is the starting 14th, Jeff Taylor in the 23 machine. Starting 15th, Chris Davis from Beast Mode Performance in the 29 ride. Rolling off 16th, Nick King for Warrior Racing, piloting the 4. 17th, that belongs to Underdog Racing's Brandon Zimmerman. In the 6 from New York, my home state as well, that's the 18th, Justin Belmonte. Chris Vanderplatz making his return, CVP Racing, rolling off 19th tonight. Rounding out your top 20 from Rackhouse Racing, the 99, Daryl Klotz. 21st, Paul Whitney in the 74 machine. And we went the wrong way there with the rotation there.
No. Look at the top of your screen. Darren Mills going to roll it off from outside row number 11. Jeff Carson and John Binder are going to roll it from row 12. Aaron Matthews, Ryan Huff in row 13. Row 14, Matt Mackin and Nick Atwood. Row number 15 is going to give us Jamison Middlemiss and Caden Nofree. So 30 cars scheduled to roll it here tonight, Matt. 147 laps of scheduled distance. We heard stage break at 60.
That is correct, Tony.
So Davis going to have the button as the field works its way down the back straightaway. Beautiful paint schemes being represented here tonight. Loving that Rebesta scheme of Kyle Holden. As the field works its way into the 3-4 complex, the only thing left for me to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, put on your dancing shoes because it's time to get it on in Darlington. Race fans, it's showtime!
And not only is showtime, it's throwback showtime as we're under green flag racing here at Darlington for the first time this evening. Everyone at home, buckle up. It's going to be prime. Tonight is look at Shane P. Davis shoot out of a cannon. He is in no man's land already as he's getting a little loose there, coming off turns. Number 2, as he shoots down the backstretch. Tony, he almost has a 1-second lead over Kyle Holden in second.
He does at that. Randy Mullins trying to reel him in pretty quickly here, though. Get that thing under control. As they come down the front straightaway, everybody getting pretty single filed out so far.
Yeah, single file, but that train is ripping. Look at those lap times they're putting up already. Here in the 35-second bracket, I mean, these guys are ripping the top of the racetrack. As we start to see a pass for Ferguson there, going down the front, or going down the back straightaway. I didn't get a chance to see who it was, but it was right around that 15th place position. You see him now going across the start and finish line. Still most of the competition here. Single file.
Oh!
Back. Somebody in the wall. I believe Jeff Taylor in that 23.
I'm trying to find it.
It was not Taylor. Taylor continues to charge forward in his Camaro.
I'm still trying to find it.
And while Tony's doing that,
That's who it was. 21 Sullivan ate the wall. Oh, we got problems behind him. Middle miss.
Problem, Tony.
Middle miss just clattered both walls.
That's what the lady in black loves to do. She just doesn't make you take a little bit. Nope, you hit the outside. She's going to make you go down there and show some love to the inside as well. Is multiple cars making contact here inside 4 laps early. As we see now the 21 heading for pit road of
Look
Chad
how
Sullivan.
badly that car is crabbing, Matt. I mean, that's going to be a little bit of a time to get that one fixed. Middle miss having problems even getting the car to turn onto pit road. That's Bluetooth right front suspension. That is not attached.
No, certainly Uncle Ted did not bless that race car, as it seems. As early in this one, two competitors going to have very long stays on pit road as we remain under green here. Taking a look there at the 3, the Wheaties throwback Hunter Carmichael. He slipped one spot from where he started, Tony. He's currently 5th on the field with Wayne Bowen right in front of him. And that, of course, is the famous Skull Bandit Harry Gant ride himself. I get chills just seeing that paint scheme out on the racetrack. Look how tight they are.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you've got the old play school paint scheme on Holden's car. Harry Gant riding with Randy Mullins tonight. Defending series champion Kenneth Coppola in a senior tribute car. Hunter Carmichael in a senior tribute car. And I would have given Hunter endless amounts of crap had he decided not to go with a senior tribute scheme.
Well, I look at it this way, Tony. I mean, why not the man in black when you're attacking the lady in black on the racetrack?
Well, let me pose this question to you. If you were the man in black, Dale Earnhardt Sr., were you listening to Johnny Cash on your way to Darlington to dance with the lady in black?
He probably did.
I mean, it would make sense. It would be kismet at that point.
Oh, there's a battle there on the racetrack as you see the 83 of Wortman Jr. throwing it back to Red Bull Racing, who I was certainly honored to be a part of at times back in its heyday there in the late 2000s, as he is just off the back now of Jordan Schmitz. We go back further through the field in that 41 team.
Oh, I am digging that one. Paul Gallimore. What a fitting scheme for that number. The old Pepsi Challenger days with DW behind the wheel.
Now, that one there, a lot of people forget about. That's a die-hard DW fan right there pulling that paint scheme out of the woodwork. I couldn't agree more with you, Tony.
The 83 ride when Pepsi did their whole Pepsi Challenge thing. And for those of you too young to remember what that was, Coke and Pepsi had a really fierce rivalry in the early 80s. And they were spending big bucks to try to get your soda dollar. And Pepsi went around the country and they had a blind taste test. They would pour you a little shot glass full of Coke and a little shot glass full of Pepsi, and they'd hand them to you, have you taste each one, and tell them which one you liked the best. Guess who lost?
Pepsi.
No, surprisingly, it was Coke. And that led to the whole new Coke, which nobody liked, and they brought back Coke Classic, and Coke sales spiked. So the Pepsi Challenge was actually the best thing that could have ever happened to Coca-Cola. Battle right now going on for 6. Wortman and Bowen going after each other right now as they come through 3 and 4 side by side. Oh, hang on to her.
Hold on to it.
Wortman.
That's why I was...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, that's why I was holding my breath right there as Wortman there in the those guys there. I mean, it's so hard to hold that position there on the racetrack, Tony. The lady in black does not give you a lot of room there. And you've seen what can happen as he completely lost his rear grip and had to chase it down the racetrack. Luckily, the lady did not claim that Mustang early as he was able to gather it up and keep that position out there as he still currently runs in that 7th place position.
Well, the thing to keep in mind, too, is that corner is the one that's been getting the sun beaten on it all day. As you notice, the long shadows starting to come out as they come through 3 and 4. They've had the morning sun, the midday sun, and now the sun's starting to set. That's going to be one of the corners that's going to cool off quickest. But it's still pretty treacherous tiptoeing your way through there. But throw a blanket over your top 5 right now as we got a battle for 4th. Coppola finally makes a move on Mullins.
Yeah, there's Wild Thing himself, Kenny Coppola. He's been a big story on all the headlines there. Is the sim has a slip as we see fender and parts go flying. But Coppola's car does not make contact with the wall, and he charges out with the slider that he put on the 54 of Mullins. Kenny Coppola now up to certainly one of the guys to watch here tonight, as he's been on a hot streak. It's either been feast or famine for the 77. What does he have in store for us tonight? You guys got it locked in right here on SRM, the only place you're going to find out. So smash the like button, subscribe, become part of the family, and help these guys on the racetrack find more viewers just like you. It's all about the algorithm, and that's how you guys attack the algorithm. Helps these guys out on the racetrack.
And
Great racing here.
And whatever you do, try to help Al Gore's with them while you're at it. But Shane Davis getting a little sideways off of turn 2 the last couple of laps. Now Coppola gets sideways as he's trying to reel in the Chi-Town Hustler, Kyle Holden.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the Chi-Town Hustler, he is chasing down or trying to do everything to get around. But Tony, catching him is one thing. Passing them is certainly another thing, especially here at Darlington, is he is just inches off the back deck lid of that Toyota Camry. He can certainly seem to get up to him at times, but just doesn't have the confidence yet in that race car to pull the trigger. And just as I say that, he hits the go-go juice, and he's going to rocket it into the corner. But the 79, he's going to make it stick up top. Look at the pass. Look at the slide job there.
Well,
Woo!
it kind of helped. It kind of helped that Shane Davis coming out of turn 2 was doing his best screen test for Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift number 2. As Coppola able to get around him after he platters the wall, bangs the wall off a 2 again. Davis has got to be careful because, yes, this car is a sturdy car, but it's only going to take so many shots like that. And we are under yellow conditions. Uh-oh. What happened, Brandon Zimmerman?
First caution flag.
Looks like a lot of right side damage on that car.
Yeah, there certainly is, Tony. If you go back to the replay, As you can see here, he's down on the inside, just outside of the 4, as they haul off into the corner here.
Oh. Well, that would explain the right side damage.
Ouch.
Let's watch that one again from the eye in the sky.
You can see him there working the inside of the racetrack.
And that was just, the front end washing up, trying to get on the throttle a little too aggressively, losing the front. The only problem was there was a car there. And just like that, we are under caution. Now, these guys are getting 5 sets of tires in the pits. So 6 total sets. And we are seeing just about wholesale pit stops. Randy Mullins electing to stay out to get that all-important bonus point for leading a lap. Tim Wortman, Chris Spears also stay out. And there goes the 10 of Chris Vanderplaats getting his lap back as a free pass. One of his laps back as a free pass.
Yeah, certainly not the start he was looking for there. But like you said, Tony, he gets one of his laps back. Currently going to be 1 lap off the lead lap as Chris Vanderplaats makes his return here tonight at Darlington.
Actually,
used to watch this.
Matt, he's 5 laps down.
Oh my good! What happened to Chris Vanderplaats?
I don't know. Unless he pit started or had connection issues, I wouldn't know why he would be that far down.
Yeah, you're right. As I pull up iRacing timing and scoring, wow, he certainly has his work cut out for him.
He absolutely does. But, we talk about pit strategy all the time, and this track notorious for eating tires. I'm not sure if 20 laps into a 147-lap race, I agree with the call of Mullins, Wortman, and Spear. I can't help but think that those 3 guys are sitting ducks right now.
My initial instinct or my first read tells me that they could be in trouble right now. That's a good amount of green flag laps on those good years. Like you mentioned, at a track like Darlington, as you say at times, is known for being a cheese grater. And it's not like you have tires, you have that buffer, where you have tires in 8th, 9th, 10th per se. There are fresh tires right behind these guys inside the top 3, starting with Kyle Holden in the 59. If I was on top of that pit box, I would be shaking vigorously as...
Well, take a look back in 9th. Justin Belmonte using fuel only. Chris Davis taking fuel only. Everybody else wisely taking foreign fuel. But, the guys that didn't put tires on this time, I'm scared for them, but I'm more scared for everybody around them.
Well, that's the other part, too. You got to hope and pray that they don't make a mistake on the restart. Really easy to spin these tires here, Tony, as this racing surface is old. It's worn out. Gives it a lot of character. But in these situations, if you're some of the other guys that are up there, inside the top 5 especially, look for that crew chief to be on top of the box with a spotter, just making sure their driver is aware that the guys on the front row are starting, first, second, and third. They're on old shoes. And just to keep a heads up, be aware that there could be some wheel spin here as we go back to green.
Well, it's not wheel spin I'm more concerned with. It's when they get to turn 1 and those 3 guys have to all slow down and everybody else can kind of keep their foot in it.
That's the other side of it, too.
I predict carnage within a lap.
Well, we certainly don't want to see that. As you see him trying to clean them up here, is that iRacing.com pace card now brings them through the turns 3 and 4 complex. And you're right, Tony. If you don't have any issues on the initial throttle hit, this could get ugly here in turns 1 and 2 as that iRacing.com pace car pulls off as they come around turn number 4, looking for that Geico restart zone. Randy Mullins has the button. He's got Tim Wortman on the outside. We're back to green, and a big wiggle there from the 54 as he gets a great launch. And Tony, now here he comes down to the turns 1 and 2. The 54 is going to send it in low, sweep up high. We're clean so far as the rest of the field comes up to speed. And look at Chris Spear as he makes a power move there on Shane P. Davis. Davis looks back down to the inside as they come back into 3 and 4.
Davis with the power move. His spear eats the wall on the old tires. Not able to get it to stick. And these guys are just getting after it right now. And take a look back here. Justin Belmonte's creating a log jam behind him.
Yeah, big time log jam. Oh, the 3 there got a little piece of the wall. I mean, he got pressed up there in the nosebleeds as the competition not cutting him any slack. And magically, somehow, someway, Hunter Carmichael found a place to fit in between those 2 race cars, and the catastrophe is avoided.
He absolutely did, as Chris Spear continues to fall back. Meanwhile, up the front of the team, Wortman has caught Mullins, as those 2 guys trying to pull a gap. Shane P. Davis not letting him get away 1 iota. And Davis just biding his time right now. Looks to the inside of Wortman down the back straightaway. Drag race going into turn number 3. Give the advantage to Davis as he has the fresher shoes and is able to get that car to stick.
Did you see the run Davis had coming
Oi!
off? Hold on to it, son. Davis still under the attack. He is full send right now. Is able to clear the 54 with another hot shot move there as he takes the lead. And that's going to open the door now for Kenny Coppola to slide in. Now he's in third, hanging right off the back of Randy Mullins. Wild Thing himself now coming to life. He's the man on the move as well.
He is at that. And take a look at the last time Coppola was by, 22.32. New fast lap of the session.
Yeah, I wonder if these guys are going to start flirting with that 28-second bracket like you've seen on Sunday. Oh, they touch, they slap hands, the 79 and the 83 of Wortman. Make slight contact, getting into the corner there. That's going to pitch him up high in the nosebleeds. It's a drag race once again down the backstretch as they are stacked 2 by 2 going into 3 and 4.
Mullins starting to fade back now as Tim Wortman, the only one that's on the fresh tire, still in the top 5. And that's not going to be much longer as here comes the Chi-Town Hustler, and here comes Hunter Carmichael to just relegate him further back. A little bit of racing going on back here with Mullins and Taylor now. Mullins has got to be kicking himself as he's 2 full seconds off the pace of what these fast guys are laying down.
Oh, my goodness. Did you see what just happened there to the 6 of Belmont? Tony, that car was pointed at a 45-degree angle. I thought he was going to rocket into the inside wall right up the racetrack, and somehow he just kick-flipped it back, and that car slung back straight in the blink of an eye. I've never seen a save like that in my life.
Well, let's watch that again, because I think it's at the end of this lap that it happened.
As you're watching the 6 there roll. Nope, it wasn't that right. It wasn't right there at that point. Maybe it's this next upcoming corner here. Oh, that's how it happened. He had contact with the 54 of Randy Mullins that initiated that.
Yeah, they got into each other, and then it just kind of stacked them up from there. And speaking of fast lap of the race, 29-2 dead for Shane Davis as he's a second and a quarter up the road from your defending points leader, Kenny Coppola, current points leader, I should say. But this battle back here just outside the top 10, Jeff Carson has gotten the clear. Now Carson has turned quite a few laps this week in this car with this setup, because that's the same Jeff Carson we saw run on Saturday or Sunday night and do quite well at this facility.
Yeah, he was definitely one of the ones to watch there, as he was a sleeper that came to life in that 81. And like you were saying, Tony, Carson already up 13 spots in 33 laps. He's certainly one of the guys on the move. Is that gentleman right behind him, though? Nicholas Atwood actually has him beat, current biggest mover up the race in 17 positions right now. The 11 is coming right now. There's Nicholas Atwood on the racetrack. And that Camaro he's piloting here tonight currently obviously has a bad, fast Camaro there, Tony.
He does at that as that's Whitley putting a move on Mullins right now, and Mullins just continuing to backslide as the Chi-Town Hustler and Wayne Bowden going after each other.
Oh, hold on to it, fellas.
This is going to get dicey.
I mean, the Chi-Town Hustler just about took it down to the flat and used that to start to turn into the corner. If I would have done that, I would have ate the outside wall for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Not that man. Is he somehow able to make those aggressive lines work and stick? I tried that before twice the past 2 days, every time unsuccessful. As he continues to go to battle there between the 78 of Wayne Bowen and the 59 of Kyle Holden. That's just inside the top 5 for that 3rd and 4th position. And don't look now, just off about a car length and a half back, closing fast is the 3 of Hunter Carmichael.
And, Matt, there's only 3 cars in the iRacing server that will let you run down on that flat at speed, and none of them have fenders.
Yeah, this is true. As you were talking to Barry here in the opening before we went live, and I thought he was going to put a massive door slam on the 78, and somehow he's able to keep it off.
How they all kept that pointed straight, I have no idea, but here comes Hunter Carmichael on the offense now, as Holden going to have to worry about that orange car getting ever bigger in his rearview mirror, as Caden Nofree currently sits plus 16. There he is in the 44, as, after not laying a time in qualifying, he's working backside of Justin Belmonte now, as Belmonte going to slip back to 14th, Nofree up to 13th. And right in front of him, that is Atwood and baby.
He gets put on a massive slider. Blood pressure goes up 100 points in the fraction of a second, and yet he corrals that race car as the Lady in Black does not claim the Camaro, as he's still wiggling as we're door to door going for broke, going into 3.
That was Tim Wortman and Jeff Carson going after each other now. Wortman keeping that thing pointed in the... no, that's not Carson.
That's the 64 of... you have 83 of Wortman there.
Oh, okay, that's Mullins and Wortman. Okay,
Correct.
I had it backwards. I apologize, folks. So Mullins leading Wortman right now. And at the front of this piece, it's starting to heat up for the lead. The two, and surprise, it's the 2 teammates who are sitting 1 and 2 in points. Davis and Coppola have stretched out 4.5 seconds to the good over Wayne Bowen.
I'll tell you what, Shane P. Davis, a lot of these races since we've been on board now with our deal, our partnership here, which we're so thankful for, he has been the rocket man on short runs. I mean, that car just gets out of Dodge quick, fast, and in a hurry. The minute you get some laps on those tires, cue the Jaws music. Here comes Sasquatch himself, the 77 man with the plan. That's Kenny Coppola as he's charging in on his teammate, doing what he does, Tony. I mean, that guy has just been electric since we've come on with these guys. Here's another spot on the racetrack here is we got 3 cars going at it hard for that 3rd place position.
Hey.
Oh, contact.
Contact and a blink. As that was Holden that got into Bowen. Carmichael blinked, and something's not right with Holden's car. He may have knocked the toe out on that hit. He's had a lot of contact on the right side.
Yeah, you're right, Tony. There was a lot of contact there. Either something's off, like you said, the toe.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps.
Watch him going on the straightaway. He's right hand down. He's knocked the toe completely out of that car. You see it? That orange line should be right at 12 o'clock. And he is right hand down now. He has got toe link issues with the 59, and he is losing spots quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah, and that's why you see him lose so much pace there real quick, because he had to kind of figure out where center was in that race car. And for all you guys at home watching on the YouTube channel, that orange line is the center line. So when that's pointing at 12 o'clock, like Tony said, That references the front wheels you're tracking in a straight line. When you knock the toe out, well, don't go by that orange line anymore because that'll get you in trouble. As we see the 3 of Carmichael really forcing the issue here as they both get a little squirrely coming off the 4. Drag race to the line. Carmichael currently has it, but here comes Bowen on the outside.
Oy!
Throws it in on a slider. Carmichael takes the spot as we are slicing and dicing and mixing it up here inside the top 5 like it's 15 laps to go.
Bowen tried to throw the block. Carmichael was there, and Carmichael was not to be denied. That's for darn tootin'. As meanwhile, Holden sort of got it figured out as he's right on the back bumper of Taylor again. And something just went haywire with the 10. Let's go back and take a look at what did happen to Chris Vanderplat's. Car looks to be running pretty decent here, coming down the front chute. Eats the wall. And just says, yeah, you know what? We're calling it.
Yep, we're calling it right here, right now. Brings the car now to a halt, takes a tow back to pit road. Get back to the on-track racing action here as we're now 47 laps in. 100 laps to go in the scheduled distance tonight. Caution on the racetrack. The second caution flag tonight is Shane P. Davis in the 77 of Kenny Coppola. Teammates continue to dominate this race as they're 1-2 on the racetrack. Darren Mullins in that 64 up 5 spots. But look at the man on the move, Jeff Carson, up 19 positions, Tony. Up 20 positions, I take that back. We know he's got a ton of seat time on this racetrack as he went the distance Sunday night, and that's paying off right now in his performance here tonight.
Okay, let's back that up a lap. And it's going to happen. Oh, okay.
We found it.
I did find it. It was Hunter Carmichael having issues.
Yeah, I was wondering where he was as he was, further up on the scoring pylon. Gonna go back to the replay here. Got Carmichael there in the 3.
Him in the 78 got into it again, it looks like. He just gets the wall there and pancakes it there. No, that shouldn't have been a caution. Let's see what happened to Chris Spear in the 7. As I'm showing him coming up as...
Yeah, that shouldn't have been the caution as we've seen that multiple times on the racetrack. Now that there...
Okay, that would be why he showed up. Okay, then.
Yeah, we'll just roll with it, Tony.
He and the 4 getting into it there, coming to the pace car.
Just a little friendly gesture, that's all.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this could be the stage break. Wasn't there 2 of them scheduled for tonight?
Yep, we got lap
48.
Correct, Tony.
And what's the next one?
Well, we're following the Xfinity race. That's the distance. That's the those are the stages we're going to follow. So lap 48 and lap, I believe lap 88 as well. So I'm going back here to my notes that I took down. Lap 48 and lap 85. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The stage break.
Okay, so I was going crazy trying to find it for nothing. You're fired as my wingman.
I'm fired as your wingman.
Meanwhile,
You need me.
as the lights go out on the pace car, Shane Davis winning the medal off pit road, Kenny Capola come out in second. And hey, look at that. Everyone took tires.
Applying lessons learned when we were 20 laps in, and the top 3 stayed out, and they paid the price as those new shoes ate them up hook, line, and sinker at the front of the field. Tony, hard to believe we're already 50 laps into this race.
Who the hell?
What is the Quaker State car doing there?
I don't know.
That's the 5.
He's at the wrong track to try to steal a race like Brett Bodine did.
That would be along the throwback lines, but this, I mean,
yeah,
Aaron
no.
Matthews in the 5 there, he's being scored in 23rd.
I got him in 25th.
There he goes. Okay. Because he's going to come around now and catch the tail end of the field here. And if he was trying to sneak in there, that was...
Doesn't work like that, bud.
I mean, that was obvious.
Well, Larry McReynolds to this day still says, I have no idea how we won that race. We were a lap down as far as I knew.
I mean, openly and blatantly.
Oh, yeah, no, Larry McReynolds freely admits, he goes, I don't know how we got scored with the win that day.
I think the biggest blunder of all time, though, unfortunately, is as much as I love that, man, when Mark Martin was piloting the Winn-Dixie car in the...
Let's not talk about that unless you want to see a hand come through your computer screen and choke you.
I love Mark Martin, okay? Everyone has in racing.
If you mention that race ever to me, not in jest, we're going to have words.
I cried when it happened, Tony. I was in tears.
Oh, yeah, my dad was in tears, too, laughing his ass off.
Oh, so it was a traumatic experience.
Yes, it was.
Do we dial up some more trauma here as we go back green at the lady in black? You know who's at the front of the field, the 77 of Kampala, but the 79 of J.P. Davis had the button, and he corks a ripper as those guys are clear. However, right behind them, look at the Hornet's Nest already starting to boo as Carmichael squeezes one right around the outside there of Kyle Holden. Jeff Taylor and company as well right there. You see the 65 there?
We got one crashing towards the back, and I can't find him. There he is.
Caution again, the 93 machine.
I saw it in the background. I just couldn't get to him quick enough. Watch what happens coming off a 2 for that tide ride.
Oh, he got dead hooked into... Oh, that's painful.
And the 4 once again takes another race car to the face. That's the third one tonight.
Captain King should have Captain Crunch on that race car.
As a matter of fact, this is what King saw.
You want to talk about deer in the headlights? Here we go.
And that was a solid hit, too.
You know, thank God Nick King doesn't play hockey.
True story. Okay, I think I've got another new favorite car on the track.
The Texas Terry Cornflakes car. That's what's up. Great looking Camaro there.
I didn't mean to wreck him. I just meant to rattle his cage.
Bristol Earnhardt, 95. You know, even old Earnhardt, old steel face, couldn't hold back a smirk there on that one.
Oh, yeah, no, you could tell he was back in the hauler with Dale Jr. and Kelly going, see how I handled that one?
He did more than rattle his cage. He ran...
Flat used him up.
Exactly. Because Earnhardt knew there, if he didn't put him in the wall, he was gone because Terry had fresh tires.
Yep.
If I remember correctly how it played out.
Something to that effect. One of them was on fresher shoes. Earnhardt had to take a shot, and he did. And Terry ended up in the infield.
Yeah, he took over the lawn mowing duty for the night. You're right. Tony, I can't imagine how you feel, but I even start to feel my age as I'm able to rattle off and remember, where I was when I watched these throwback cars on the racetrack at various points in time throughout racing history.
When they weren't throwback cars, they were the actual up-to-date current scheme. Yeah, it's freaking scary, bud.
It kind of is. As we're back under caution here once again, Shane P. Davis has been absolutely thrilling from the drop of the green flag as we're 55 laps in. Wild Thing Kenny C's on the move. He's up 3. Wayne Bowen up 4 spots. Hunter Carmichael, he's been impressive. But Jeff Taylor, the 23 and the 81 of Carson, I think those are two you're really going to have to pay attention to, mainly because, Tony, we know that they got a lot of practice here already. And Jeff Carson, well, he's just cracked the top 10, hasn't really been at the front. I believe he's on his way there, as he's already up 14 spots, sitting there in 9th.
Well, the thing is, that's Carson's MO. He'll hang back in the early going of the race, stay within contention, and then, he'll turn the wick up with like 50 or so to go. But you're absolutely right. He ran a full distant race on Sunday that we know of. And, that's not including everything else he's ran to get ready. So if anybody's got a good handle on this, it's Carson. As, definitely one to watch out for. And I'm really digging that Coors Milling tribute scheme of Jeff Taylor's in the 23. But, right now it's it's the old Davis and Coppola show. As between Davis and Coppola, they've led all but maybe 5 laps of this whole piece.
Yeah, usually the third place guy's fighting for the sandwich, who wants to be in the middle of those two. The meat in the sandwich, as you like to say, is it's the front row being shared by the 79 and the 77. Once again, as those lights go out, the pace car is going to pull off the track. Strap your belts, make sure grandma's nice and secure, get him some extra kernel-free popcorn as we get ready to go back green here on the racetrack. One more time from Darlington, South Carolina. Green flag in the air. Shane P. Davis puts it to the floor, climbing up through the gearbox one more time as we are now heading through the turns 1 and 2 complex. It's the 79, the 77. Here comes Jeff Taylor. He is up to 5th. The 59 with the slide job there. Kyle Holden. That's now going to put him in 6th. Jordan Schmitz right on the back of him.
As here comes Wortman to the inside of Carson. This is your battle for the final step in the top 10. Ford on the low side, Toyota on the top shelf, as these guys are just going after it here. Still on relatively new tires, and we did not get a lap under green last time. And somebody's sending it around the outside. That is 29. Oh
no, here it goes. Big boy. Jeff Taylor eats it. Multiple cars involved.
Carson just got annihilated.
Or Carson, I'm sorry, not Taylor. Carson got annihilated there. As he's doing battle there with Wortman, this is where it's going to kick off as the 81 just throws it right in front of the face of the 6 of King again. He's been taking everything to the face. Then he gets clocked by Carson or Taylor again.
What I want to know is, how did Mullins miss him?
I have no clue. As that all got started right here when Wortman and Taylor were going. Oh, look at how he just body slammed his car right in front of the 6. And that lights the wick, and here comes the bang, and it was a big one.
That was a big miss.
In aviation, they call it a near miss. That's about as close as you can get. Here's one more look at it from the eye in the sky. He just
there was contact going into 1. And it looks like he just started to step out on his own on corner exit. luckily the 54 met him, but not so good news for a couple other cars.
Yeah, that was certainly a big impact for the 81 of Jeff Carson. Because oftentimes, even at these speeds, it's a game of inches.
Why am I not finding... Why can I not find the Nesquik car?
It should be there.
I know it should. I just can't remember what damn number it is.
So for whatever reason, that Nesquik car is
there
not
we go
on my screen. I still can't see it.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, the server woes continue as I still cannot see the Nesquik car, but
well,
I know the 74 is there somewhere.
Yeah, we're going back and take a look at what happened with Paul Whitney. As the 29 just sent it around the outside. That caught my attention first. And then all hell breaking loose. Oh, he got finished off by the 2 as he was trying to collect it. First, he was on the binders trying to stay out of the trouble. Too much rear brake bias. Caught that back end to start to wash out. And the 2, absolutely nowhere to go, just finished him off.
Yeah, he had too much grab in the caboose of that race car. You're absolutely right, Tony.
As we are under yet another caution. Working lap 61 of 147. And with that, we're going to step away, pay a couple bills, and we'll be back right after this. We are back at Darlington for round number 13 of the Moonshiners Racing League Cup Series. I'm Tony Trapasso. He's Matt Metler, and the lights have just gone out on the pace car after all that carnage on the backstretch. I'm kind of thinking that everybody just needs to calm down just a tick. Yes, I know we're under fresh tires, fresher tires. They're closing in on 20 laps on these tires, and only 2 of those laps are under anger. But yes, it's the easiest time to make a pass, but it's not the most advantageous a lot. Everybody just needs to,
just breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
Get back to your rhythm.
Thank you. As Davis going to have the button one more time. Electing to take the outside lane. No, Coppola had the button.
Yeah, Coppola had the button, somehow took the lead there from Shane P. Davis. For the first time, the 77 Rocket Man himself, he is to the point. He has his teammate in tow behind him, the 79 of Shane P. Davis. There's about a 3 or 4 car length gap back to the 78 of Wayne Bowen. And here is the cluster of cars right here that have really been lighting it up in prime time. Zimmerman goes up and doinks.
Wortman.
Thank you, Wortman in the 83 there, as that's going to shuffle the deck a little bit. Now we have a drag race. Look who goes ahead and takes it from the 64 of Zimmerman, sends it into the corner hard. He's going to make it stick. Jeff Taylor right in the mix as well in that 23 machine. These guys have really been racing hard here, Tony.
They are at that. It's Spears on a recovery drive. As he's now door-to-door with Gallimore. This is your battle for 16th. And one of your closest on track is, let's go back up into the top 5. As these guys are all running stem to stern right now. Everybody kind of playing nice. which is a little bit refreshing to see. The only problem is they're playing a little too nice, as Coppola and Davis have just walked out on everybody.
Yeah, he hit the afterburner, said, see you later, I'll catch you next time by, as he put up the fastest lap of the race at a 29:18 in the 77. I said, Rocket Man, he must be listening in the car, because he just went Category 5 full-fledged afterburner, as he's even checking out on his teammate, as he almost has a 1 second cap on Gavis.
He does at that. I don't know if he's going to take his foot off the throat of his opponents right now, though. As Kenny Coppola can smell blood in the water, as we've got some battling going on now. There's Schmeets working the inside of Carmichael. That is for 5th. And then we got another battle brewing back here with Mullins, Wortman, Zimmerman, and Belmonte.
This has been the hot spot the entire race so far, right in this area of the track with these drivers, starting with Mullins, Wortman, Zimmerman, Belmonte, and here's Barry Sanders now. We haven't talked about him yet. That's the head chief bottle washer himself in that 88. He is in the thick of the storm right now, as he has Randy Mullins all over him, as he's now starting to turn the pressure up on Belmonte in the 6th, who's up 7 spots. This is right outside the top 10. And I'll tell you, Tony, those drivers there really have been full send since the drop of the green flag.
Oh, my God. That's just rude. Kenny Coppola just went even quicker.
A 29:13. Are you kidding me? Well, Tony, I said, who's going to get us into or start flirting with the 28-second bracket? We should have known 77 would be the one to do it.
Shocker, right?
Yeah, true story.
So now Bowman, Carmichael, and Taylor starting to heat things up. This is your battle for 5th. And, I got to give Jeff Taylor credit right now, because he banged the wall, but he was trying to get some clean air to the front of that car to get it to turn going into 3. And he might be battling a tight condition already.
The car certainly looks tight, but you're right. If you can't feed the face of that Camry or this next-gen car, feeding meaning the air, it's going to get tight on you quick, fast, and in a hurry. And that's why you see him, putting the lip out the way he was. He was trying to feed it, as you said. But when you're fighting the condition, when you have a dump truck or a snowplow out here at Darlington to begin with, that just cooks your tires off even faster as you feed input and that car does not respond. But like you said, he's doing a great job holding that car in 7th position, up 7 spots. Still has time to come down and work on the race car. But as these laps continue to wind down, as we closer inch by inch up to that 100-lap mark, as it's really getting dicey and hairy out there, right around the 3 of Carmichael, is now that's going to allow the X-Side ride to come into the picture, and he's got Michael Waltrip with him in that Wood Brothers car. I understand it's not, that's Darren Mullins, but I mean, these paint schemes make you go back and think of these drivers out there on the racetrack. Big slider coming off the turn. He keeps it straight.
Well, the thing is,
lights out.
It wasn't just Mikey that ran that car. That was Morgan Shepherd also ran the Sunoco ride for them.
This is true.
So, a lot of racing history through that Wood Brothers organization. But, these guys have gotten single filed out. Your best racing is back here from about 7th on back, as those guys are all running stem to stern right now, from Mullins to Mullins. And I'm going to leave it at that.
I mean, these guys are so exciting to watch right now. I mean, literally, you don't really have to say a word. It's that good. Let the action speak for itself. As he throws it in on the bottom, he's going to slide it up to the top, take it up to the nosebleeds, no contact with the wall. Mullins mowing him down here once again.
That was Zimmerman that had that big move. Mullins is back there in the Skoll ride. And then the other Mullins is up here in the X-Side ride.
That's right, Tony, thank you for that. And then we got a couple different Mullins in the field, all related.
And they're tied for 18th in the points.
Hey, nothing says family like being tied in the points.
Hey, more power to them, man.
Exactly. I couldn't get my dad to do this if I tried.
I think my dad might have enjoyed this.
My dad loves NASCAR. He couldn't even get the race car out of the pits without it spinning, and he gave up on it in 2 seconds. But hey, at least I made the effort.
Hey, at least he made the effort.
I made the effort. You have no idea how long it took. He gave it 3 seconds and was done.
Well, fair enough.
Oh, Wortman just continues to really be aggressive here on the racetrack through 77 laps. Looks like he's charged up by Red Bull here tonight the way he's driving, Tony.
That seems like a fair assessment right now as he's working the inside of Taylor. As we're staying with this battle just outside your top 5. As a matter of fact, you can see, here we go, battle for 5th between Carmichael and Bowden. Bone in the Wrangler 78. Here comes Carmichael to his inside.
Carmichael gets a little loose there. Oh, contact twice. How is he able to keep it on the racetrack and maintain the position? Oh, that doesn't happen a lot here. And Darlington is on the offensive again. You think he would take a minute to catch his breath? Nope. Right back on the attack for Carmichael is the 78 of Bowen, and Carmichael putting on a show here for that 5th place position. Now Carmichael's gonna, the 65 spun, coming off the corner. He catches it, stays off the wall. We stay under green.
Save of the night.
May need a new race suit, but hey, that car is clean. Still no blemishes on that ride.
Well, that's shaking up this this little grouping of cars so far. So here comes Carmichael back to the inside of Bowen, coming through 3 and 4. This is where the scene of the crime was a couple of laps ago. As we are closing in, handshake lap left in this stage. Completion of lap 85 is the stage caution. Anything within 5 laps, next flag ends the stage.
Right, so if that caution was to fly now, that will be the stage. You guys follow along with us here at home. Make sure you like, subscribe, become part of the family. Easiest way to do it. You can follow these guys and get reminded each and every Wednesday night when the Moonshine Racing League invades prime time right here on SRM, as it is still a slugfest UFC style between Bowman and Carmichael, as he is literally welded to the back of that 78. Yeah, he better be driving beast mode right now, trying to keep Carmichael behind him, because Carmichael is possessed in that 3, doing everything he can to get around that 78 fifth. Wow.
He's trying to figure it out, but I mean, so far, Bowen is keeping him back there.
Bingo, beast mode, exactly. That's what it takes if you want to keep that man behind you. I understand that's for the 5th and final spot inside the top 5 as these laps continue to wind down for the stage. There's the 54. There's Randy Mullins in the Harry Gant Skull Bandit ride there. And he's found his buddy, Wortman Jr. in the 83 again, as now they duke it out for that final point-paying position there for the stage. Just off the back of Mullins, there he is, the Sandman himself, Barry Sanders in the 88. With the McDonald's the McDonald's drive-through paint scheme on that race car as well.
Yep. As right now, Wortman, Mullins. Oh. Uh-oh. That's a 23 of Taylor getting shuffled out. Had to chase it down the track. He's going to slot in right in front of Gallimore. And that promotes Randy Mullins up into the final step of the top 10. And who thought it would be a good idea to let Kenny Capola have the lead of the race? He's a second and a half to the good over anyone else, and that just so happens to be his teammate, Shane Davis. Kyle Holden, though, keeping Davis honest a little bit as Davis brushes the wall, coming through 1 and 2. Down the back chute they come. Should see the green and white checker this time by.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tony. And this car is strong and sturdy as it is, which really has led, the Cup Series up today, really turn up the aggression a little bit. Its weakness is that toe link, and you have to remember that because you hit this car the wrong way against another race car or the wall, and it is curtains until you're down there on pit road having to change that out. As we go back up to this battle for 10th, there you have the 83 of Wortman, the 88 of Sanders, and the 58 of Mullins. These guys all are fighting hard for that final 10th place position, the final points paying before the stage break here. As we go back down, 23 Jeff Taylor, the 29 Chris Davis.
Didn't you say the stage break was supposed to be on lap 85?
That is correct. That's what I wrote down, Tony.
We're on lap 87.
Yep, we're still green. I see that.
All right, then.
Perhaps I didn't hear him right, but that's what
I know I didn't hear him because I was setting up the last little bits and bobs for the broadcast. Well, shoot. Next caution, we're calling it stage break, folks.
Yeah, as the 83 there literally rode the wall, but he had to because if he turned down at all, he would have took out Barry Sanders himself. You definitely don't want to take out the commissioner of the league, especially on a throwback night. As he continues to charge on here, that's right that 10th place position. Barry Sanders up 2 spots in 11th. Paul Gilmore in that Bill Elliott throwback 11. Last time by Gilmore, a 29.99. His fast lap, though, at 29.45. Not that much fall off in the 11. The problem is there's a lot faster cars in competition on new shoes, but still having a decent day there in 12th. Here's Wortman once again there, right in that 10th and final place position. Now Mullins, he's going to pull the trigger here. Look to steal one here from Belmonte late in this run before the stage is scheduled to come out. Should be any time as they are door to door going through the 3 and 4 complex. Little wiggle at the start finish line. Give it to Belmonte. But Mullins is not done yet. He's going to try and size it up and go after him one more time here again.
Well, I'm doing my high-powered Gazintas. We had the first stage break at lap 40, or at the end of lap 40. So this stage break should be coming this time by, as soon as 10th place crosses.
Well, we'll keep the coverage right here. As we're looking, we have 10th place in the camera lens.
There it is.
And just as the mad magician says, Tony called it right on the head. That's the stage break. There's the caution, the 5th one total on the day. Is Kenny Capola, his teammate Davis, the 59 of Holden. Schmeets and Bowman work or round out your top 5. Carmichael, Mullins, both Mullins, the 64 and the 54. Belmonte and Wortman in the 83 make up your top 10 as they run right now, Tony.
And with that, we are going to step away, pay a few bills, and we'll be back right after this.
Copy.
And we are back at Darlington as the lights have gone out on the pace car. Wholesale pit stops for everybody and not a single dry tire in the house. Everybody pouring fuel to top them off, and they should, according to what the boss man told us before we went live, they should be able to make it on fuel. The question is anybody going to take that tire gamble if we stay green?
Well, we've seen already in this race early what has happened if you do choose to stay out. You get eaten alive as that pace car pulls down the pit road one more time. The calm before the storm. As we get ready to unleash these boys, as these V8s get ready to roar back to life off the trigger of Kenny Coppola. Sasquatch drops the hammer. He brings Shane P. Davis with him. He's going to get past him, though, on the inside. Is it Shane P. Davis and Kenny Coppola at the front of the field? But here comes the Hungry Bees and the 59 of Holden. There's Carmichael right off the back. And Tony, just like that, we are already at max Q here. Doesn't take much time here at Darlington. As here comes Jeff Taylor charging hard on the inside. He's got the position. No, look at the run that Paul Gilmore gets on the top of the racetrack. It's still a drag race here, as I believe the 11 got it at the line.
Is now Mullins and Belmonte slugging it out for a fifth spot. Belmonte, currently your biggest mover in the positive direction at 13, wants another one. It's Mullins and Mullins now going after each other. Oh, to be a fly on the wall at breakfast tomorrow.
That's eating good in the neighborhood right there, as you like to say, Tony, as they are serving up the house at each other right now. The 54 of Mullins and 64 of Darren Mullins. They have, I mean, I know they're family, but you wouldn't think it the way they've been fighting each other on the racetrack at times.
No, don't look now, but that just, oh! That was a 4 of Nick King getting sent.
Man, he's either taking cars to the face or getting sent down the racetrack. Is King usually always in the hot seat in these races, one way or the other, in that 4 machine. This is just outside that top 15. He's in 14th right now. Chris Spear in the 7 has that 15th place position. But the 4, yet again, has to catch his breath as he got sent down to the flat, but able to gather it back up here.
And here comes Wortman on the inside of the 23 of Taylor. Those two guys have been right around each other all night long so far, and they're not giving an inch yet.
Like when I was back in the Marine Corps and you were assigned a battle buddy, your objective was to not lose him at any point in place in time throughout the course of the day. Just like these race car drivers, I mean, they aren't able to get away from each other as they've been fighting.
Matt, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how the heck Kyle Holden went up there and got in between the team cars, as now suddenly he's up to second and closing in on Coppola.
He was all over Coppola about a lap earlier. Now it's that time of the race where you've worn most of the goodie off the tires, about 10 laps in here at Darlington, quicker than any other racetrack on the circuit. The tires get just completely used up. So now it's who's got the long run sets in their car, and never bet against Kenny Coppola in a long run situation.
No, certainly. I mean, even if you wrote him off last week, he had some magic that was just epic proportion.
Are you saying Kenny Coppola was Frosty the Snowman last week? There must have been some magic in that old silk hat they found.
Well, we know Coppola was dancing after that one.
True story. These guys are just putting on an amazing show here, as they do every Wednesday night as part of the Moonshiners Cup Series. I'm Tony Trapasso. He's Matt Metler. Thank you so much for making this part of your hump day. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action here on Sim Racing Media, as we do have racing 7 nights a week.
Tony, and don't forget Super Tuesday. If you love racing, we got you covered. all the way from the dinner time all the way to the midnight hours. We have 5 scheduled broadcasts on Super Tuesday. How do you get notified? Do exactly as Tony said, become part of the family. Hit the like button, ring the bell. If you love this action as much as we do, come home to SRM. We got you covered. Is Kyle Holden the first competitor that's been able to break the stronghold of the 77 of Coppola and Shane P. Davis at the front? Now he is the meat in the sandwich as he tries to reel in that bad fast 77 as he currently sits about 2/10 off the back of Coppola. And once he's gotten there, that margin has stabilized. He's just not able to get right to the back of that Bass Pro throwback to Dale Earnhardt Sr.
And Matt, I don't mean to interrupt you, but take a look at what's going on in your timing and scoring right now. Kenny Coppola, what's he driving? Kyle Holden,
Camry.
What's he driving?
Camry.
What's Shane Davis driving? Right. What were we expecting to see on Sunday?
But that didn't happen.
Right. Only because one of them jumped ship to a Ford a week early.
They totally destroyed my storyline.
Speaking of storylines, how about Paul Gallimore, as he's in a absolute slugfest right now with Davis, Wortman, and King.
Yeah, this man just comes on the scene today, making his very first start at Darlington, the Lady in Black. I mean, Tony, you got to have a lot of testicular fortitude to pull this off, and this man has executed brilliantly so far, as he's been a force to be reckoned with, as he's currently running in that 12th place position, going to war here with the 23 of Jeff Taylor. Great 108 laps so far for this young man, Paul Gilmore, in the 11.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he kind of had to make his start this week. If he waited until next week, we would have been at North Wilkesboro for the All-Star.
Facts, Tony, you're right.
And he wouldn't have been able to run. So next week, again, next week we are 150 laps at Wilkes County, North Carolina. And then 200 laps at Charlotte the following week to lead us into Memorial Day weekend.
And let me say this, Tony. If you guys at home have been following this series, the racing has been next level each and every Wednesday night. Now you take points out of the equation and let these boys just have at it. I'm telling you guys, you better be here on SRM for that race, because I guarantee you every lap is going to be absolutely lights out once we get to Wilkesboro. You can feel it. You can just overwatch these guys. Go ahead.
You'll be kicking yourself if you miss it. And speaking of kicking himself if he misses it, it's Barry Sanders all over the back bumper of Darren Mullins right now. That's your battle for 7th and 8th, as they are really starting to heat things up.
Yeah, Barry Sanders up 5 spots now in the 88. He's one of the closers in this series, too. Just methodically and silently picks his way up through the field.
Especially if we get a long green flag run, the stronger that 88 becomes. Granted, he's still not the 77, but he's pretty damn strong.
He's a type of driver that you necessarily wouldn't think would be a strong contender to win a race, but under the right circumstances, I know that 88 could definitely get the job done, as Barry Sanders always seems to be up near the front as the checkered flag falls.
Hey,
here's 3 cars.
He's 3rd place in points. You can't bet against the guy. But right now, King, Gallimore, and Taylor just letting each other have it for 11th, 12th, and 13th. You would swear they were battling for the lead with as hard as they're running each other.
And no matter where these guys run for position, they always race the daylights out of each other. As King there gets squirrely coming off the corner. Like you said, Tony, the sun's been beating on that section of the racetrack all day. As now King's going to surge ahead. That's going to move Paul Gilmore now back to 12th. That's going to give King the spot for 11th. And Jeff Taylor right there as well. Pick your poison.
this is your closest battle on track between that Ford of King and the two Chevys of Gallimore and Taylor. But, Matt, take a look at our weather conditions. We've already dropped 10 degrees from when we started qualifying.
That's huge. That track temp, Tony, great catch there. Now under the century mark at 96 degrees.
And that explains why everybody's getting so tight.
Yeah, this car was set up for a loose, greasy racetrack. And the minute you start coming down off of that century mark, the track really changes quick, fast, and in a hurry. And you're right, you're seeing more plow trucks out there. And as that temperature continues to come down, as you see Paul Gilmore there, Jeff Taylor get a little piece of the wall, you're going to see more instances like that on the racetrack until they're able to counter in the pits.
And, you know, with the way that they're going, I don't think anybody's going to be brave enough to come down pit side anymore. As here comes the 78 of Bowen, who was running up front in the early going. Got in some trouble, and now he's on a good recovery drive. Checking back in here with Brandon Zimmerman as he's working around Atwood and Matthews. As, again, battle for 16th, hot and heavy.
You know, I've learned Brandon Zimmerman, he is always going to be electric. Anytime you cut to this man out here on the camera, he's just so photogenic with the way he drives. He's always under attack, or he's defending as hard as he possibly can. As King gets back into the wall, that's going to open the door for the 29. Oh, big. How did Bowen not just eat him? How did he miss him, Tony?
I don't know, but let's go look.
That should have been breakfast, lunch, and dinner to the face.
Let's watch this again from up here. As there's King getting into the wall. Here comes the 23. And the 78 just barely. Let's watch that again. As we're going to be able to, here we go. We are going to go on board with Bowden.
Serving up the Golden Corral. Oh, just barely. Not today.
Just a touch.
That should have been a King special, as King always, as you say, catches cars to the face, and somehow he sneaks away and cheats death.
That's right now, King and Bowen all over each other as the 11 and the 23 have still not got that one sorted out.
Always fighting, always clawing for every inch on the racetrack. Paul Gilmore continues to impress here in his debut tonight. And you're right. Look at that 78 machine, Tony. He continues to be on the comeback tour as King clocks the wall. That should allow Bowen to get by. And it does. He clears the spot without not getting a big grill of that Mustang in the rear of that race car. And here comes the other Mustang, the 41 of Schmeets, now really starting to dial up the pressure on King as well.
Schmeets was coming with a head of steam down the backstretch, had to jump up the binders going into 3 to not clobber King, and that's let Gallimore and Taylor get back into this fight. Meanwhile, up there around 9th, that's Wortman and Davis going after each other, right behind Darren Mullins.
Yeah, Wortman and Davis both having great runs here through 122 laps now. As we go back here to this other battle, right around that 15th position, I mean, it has been hot and heavy, a slugfest right in the trenches. I mean, modern warfare style for Jeff Taylor, Paul Gilmore, 41 of Schmeets, as he's going to send one into the corner and able to get King there on a flyer and make it stick. What a move by Schmeets.
And we're seeing some guys come down for a tire strategy. Atwood and Spears are both trying a different tire strategy. They're trying to see if fresh tires are going to be the way to go here, as King is having problems. Taylor and Gallimore have just, caught him, and Taylor made it look easy.
Yeah, I think King really had to use his stuff up there, as that battle there was hot and heavy. Another hot and heavy battle. Hunter Carmichael going at it with Belmonte once again, who's up 13 spots. in the 6th. Two guys here that just can't seem to get away from each other as well. Right around that 4th place position. Carmichael has it. Belmonte wants it, and he's going to take it from him. Door to door here, side by side. The lady in black doesn't give you much room here to execute. This is really where you got to hold your breath. Carmichael catches the wall. Belmonte has to lift and fall back in line and have to try it again, Tony.
Well, the thing that Carmichael did right was he kept his foot in it. He knew he was going to hit the wall on corner exit, just planted his foot through the floorboard and said, let's let it eat, boys.
Hashtag full send.
Yeah.
So now he opens up some breathing room there. As now he can catch his breath here for the shortcomings. As now Belmonte falls about 3 or 4 car lengths back. Going up now to that 2nd place battle. That's Kyle Holden, the first man that was able to separate Coppola and Davis. Now he owns that 2nd place position. Shane P. Davis wants it back. These two Camrys been battling it out hard now. This all happening about a minute, 1.3 seconds in back of your leader in that 77. Really looking like the Intimidator of old out there on the racetrack. They call him Sasquatch. The Juice Man himself, Kenny Coppola, continues to lead here at Darlington.
Checking back in here, final spot of the top 10 is Wortman and Bowen going after each other. And Bowen made that look easy.
Too easy. That 78 is ripping right now, Tony. This racetrack has really come to the liking of that Camry as he made quick work of Wortman Jr., who is no slouch. He is hard to get around.
He's definitely not an easy contender, but, I mean, he just sent it. And that's the only way you can describe what just happened there is checking back in here with this battle for second. Holden and Davis still going after each other with 20 to go. Your leader, Kenny Coppola, a full second up the road, and this battle for second is starting to reel him in as hard as they're fighting with each other.
Oh, I hope we don't see a replay of last week. I can't live through another one.
Oh, no. Be still my heart. Yeah, well, guess what? It looks like that's what we're exactly looking at. As the lead was 1.5 seconds. It's now down to just under 1 second. And they are reeling in Coppola. Take a look at the last few lap times.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Coppola's given up 1/10 each time.
Not again. Well, prepare your headphones. Morning.
Mrs. Metler, if you're listening, get the tank of oxygen ready. Your husband's going to need it.
Oh, I needed everything after that last week's finale. As I was smeared on the floor, Tony had to basically call a local tow truck company to get a crane and an oversized spatula to get me up and moving again.
Yeah, I called the ambulance and told them to bring plenty of Valium with them.
That is still fresh on my mind, but you're right, Tony. This could be setting up as now that lead is under 1 second and continues to get smaller as the back of that 77 continues to grow and Kyle Holden's windshield, and you know that has to be turning up the wick inside that race car as he now sees him starting to reel the leader in, but he's bringing Shane P. Davis with them. They're both closing in on him.
And this is what Coppola is seeing out his rearview mirror right now. Those cars are getting bigger and bigger with every lap he turns as Holden gets into the wall.
Yeah, that was huge there for Holden, as that was a pretty decent slap to that Toyota Camry. Again, those bodies are resilient. They can take a beating, but that rear toe link can't. And you got to be very careful if you decide to go up there and say hi to the lady in black, that she doesn't knock that thing out of whack, because if it does, goodbye handling race car until you change that out. And the only way you're doing that is in the pits.
Well, here's the other thing that we just missed. Hunter Carmichael is reeling these guys in too.
Now, I'm not sure if Carmichael came down and took tires there.
He did not. He was last down on lap 92 with everybody else. But he's already carved 1/2 second just the last lap.
Well, Carmichael the last time. Whoa, hold on to it, Ricky.
Hunter.
Oh, he's looking like Ricky Bobby there with that move.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant Ricky Carmichael. No, he runs.
No.
He runs in another league that we broadcast.
Yeah, that Ricky Carmichael, who was made famous on the motocross track. He's got some experience in the Xfinity series and the Truck series as well, if you remember, Tony. But Carmichael, a 30-49 to Coppola's 30-87. And,
Yeah.
oh, this is going to be a four-way go for broke at the Lady in Black. Tony, I hate it when you're right.
I think the band's tuning up for some sweet chin music coming up here.
Someone just said in the live chat, I can't go to sleep now.
Hell no, 13 laps to go. It'll be 12 at the stripe, and Coppola's lead is now down to under half a second, and Holden is reeling him in just about a tenth a lap now.
12 laps to go, and this is going to be a four-way horse race for the win here at Darlington, should we stay green. Kenny's going to have to fight for his life again as we close this one out from Darlington. Right now, it's Kenny Coppola. He has led the last several laps of the race. It has been a domination by him and his teammate. Kyle Holden was the first to spoil that party as he broke the pair up. But now with 11 laps to go, the lead that Coppola once had is dwindling lap after lap and has brought Kyle Holden, Hunter Carmichael, who now has third from Shane P. Davis, up to third. Within the past 5 to 6 laps has disappeared, and it is going to be one final slugfest, potentially of the ages again.
And the thing is, Carmichael has clattered the wall the last couple of laps, battle side by side for the lead. That is,
here we go.
Holden on the low side, Coppola on the top shelf, slide job out of Holden, the Chi-Town Hustler to the front of the field.
Yeah, he just hustled Kenny Coppola with 10 laps to go. New leader, check the box. Kyle Holden out in front. The 59 ride in prime time to P1. But does Coppola have any magic left? We know he's capable. We've seen what happened last week. Is now the first big lane change in the last probably 50 laps or so, 60 laps since Coppola's been out there, is now Carmichael's in the wall.
Again. Coppola eats the wall coming off of 2. Carmichael with connection issues. Carmichael now all over the back bumper of Coppola going into 3.
Pull out the kitchen sink. Let's throw that in there as well, as everything is now on the table. Is now the Kenny Coppola and Hunter Carmichael are just about side by side. He reels the car back in line as he sets him up going into turn 3. He peaks up top. The 77 shuts the door, takes his line away. While all this is going on, this is allowing Shane P. Davis to come back into the picture, Tony.
Meanwhile, Holden's starting to step out. He's already 3/10 to the good over this battle. As now Carmichael looks to the top shelf where Mama hides the cookies.
It's skinny.
He grabs the bag of Oreos. Carmichael up to second.
The double stuffed ones, if that is Kenny Coppola gets a piece of the wall. Now the two teammates are back together. The problem is that's for third and fourth. Hunter Carmichael, Kyle Holden to the point. Is now he's side by side with his teammate. Shane P. Davis wants that position as he's looking for real estate to work with. Coppola not going to give it to him. He's fighting back on the top shelf, but the power move by Davis is now Kenny Coppola goes from first to fourth in 2 or 3 laps.
Definitely not what he was hoping for. Meanwhile, Holden is starting to stretch a gap, but lap traffic in front of him. They have got to get down and out of the way, and I don't think they know that's the leader behind them.
I don't think so either, Tony. And remember, these guys have had heated battle. Oh, the 66 gets in the wall. These guys have been dogfighting here on the racetrack. They don't... hold on to it, Carmichael. Carmichael eats the Oreo. The 79 stuffs it into the milk and cookies. And here comes 77 and Coppola again.
He's got Bluetooth suspension on that car. That right front is not attached. Carmichael's night might be done. Hopefully we stay green. We're on the handshake lap right now. And Holden is out to over a second to the good as it's a battle for position in front of him. between Mackin and Matthews.
Yeah, between Mackin and Matthews, who's in a huge dogfight of their own. Carmichael, the first to have trouble here in the closing laps as there's less than 5 to go on the board. Your leader, Kyle Holden, now trying to navigate and pile through this lap traffic. The 5 was not giving an inch. Basically has to chrome horn him out of the way. He does successfully. As he now shoots into the turns 3 and 4 complex here one more time.
Davis ate the wall.
Oh, Tony, hold your breath. These laps.
I don't think I can. Holden, Davis, Coppola, all about 3.5 seconds to the good over Darren Mullins, who's gotten up into the top 5. Wayne Bowen in 5th right now, as unfortunately Hunter Carmichael had issues. Yellow flag.
Are you serious? I don't believe it. I cannot believe it, Tony. 3 laps to go. Caution out on the racetrack for the 41 of Schmeats. After Ricky Carmichael clobbers the wall, does not bring the contact out. 3 wide. This
What
does
are
not
you
work at Darlington.
thinking?
It's going to slide up the track, give the business there to the 29 ride, and then he's going to lose it off the corner, come right back up into traffic. Oh, cars scattered, just skate by it. This all happening at the flag stand. Is now 3 laps to go, overtime engaged, and that's 77.
Oh,
you know
Jesus.
is going to get a new pair of shoes.
You have to.
Everyone's going to come down.
Oh, yeah,
So
wholesale pit stops.
The last stop was the money stop. This is the who wants to be a millionaire stop, if you ask me. Everyone being led by the 59 down is everyone on the lead lap.
I can promise you this. Whoever wins the battle off pit road is probably going to win the race. And this is where the teams need to be on their game.
Thing you practice for, every ounce of blood, sweat, and tears you put in during that time, this is when you need to dig deep.
Oh, no! Holden just blew through his box.
The pressure too much for Holden. As he blows through the box, he may have just blown the wind. Is the 79, I believe, beats Coppola off of pit road. The 79, the 77, back to the front once again.
And Holden, self-inflicted wound, drops to 5th.
Who is writing the script for these guys? I want to shake their hand, Tony.
Well, look who's in 4th. A driver that we've been talking about all night, but you know, he hasn't been up towards the front. Paul Gallimore.
I said Gilmore for a reason. I said Happy Gilmore for a reason.
Well, look at what's on that car.
DW, man.
No, he's running the same team as Davis and Coppola.
I didn't even realize that till now. I thought you were talking about him embracing his inner DW, Darrell Waltrip, but you're right. There it is. There's the branding right smack dab on the bumper. So you know he's got good stuff underneath that race car, as their setups have been wicked fast, and that's why that 11 has been so lights out here tonight as well, as Paul Gallimore making his first start here in the series. So, Tony, we re-rack him, restack him one more time. Everyone that went to their cars is clawing, trying to get over the gate and bust down the barriers to watch the green-white checkered overtime here at the Lady in Black. And Tony, I think there's going to be more than one attempt here.
Well, they're giving them up to 3.
I think we go 2 out of the 3. That's just my thinking here, because you just took all these competitors that were racing their hearts out for 172 laps. Now you throw in overtime, fresh tires, and pack them all, nice and neat and orderly on top of each other.
And then add to that a very pissed off Kyle Holden. I mean, Holden's driving angry now.
Yeah, that's a lit fuse already. I mean, for good reason. I completely understand. I've been in that position.
Oh, yeah, I've done it to myself a few times.
And some of these drivers, you don't need them and give them an little extra ammunition to go out there and find that other gear. You know what I mean when I say that.
Uh-huh.
And the other side of the coin is it looked like Coppola fading again at the end of the race. Cars wrecking on literally with 2 laps to go was the catalyst for his massive comeback for the win. This week, it's a late race caution in overtime with an awesome pit stop execution, a great team effort by Shane P. Davis and the 77 of Coppola that give them back their 1-2 stranglehold on the field as those lights go off on the pace car. Tony, I'm taking the volume now.
Right now, Davis going to have the button as he's had a couple other times tonight in the early going. We are getting green, white, checkered. Temp number 1. Pace car is in. Davis brings them down out of turn number 4 into the Geico restart zone they go. 2 laps to get it done here at the Lady in Black. Davis jumps on the loud pedal, and we've got guys changing lanes already. Good grief.
I don't think you can do that before the start-finish line.
You might want to tell the 11 that then. But right now, everybody pretty single fouled out. Coppola's sideways off a 2.
Drift special as everyone flares out behind him. There's the 11, Gillimore. He is right there. Everyone chasing Shane P. Davis. The 29 of Chris Davis is there as well. 1 more lap to go.
We are racing back to checkers. Does anybody have anything for Davis? The short answer, no.
I think we're in line for Davis domination here at the end. He starts off today by crushing the field. Coppola in line as a checkered flag in the air coming off the 3-4 complex for the final time. The 79 time is in prime time. He gets the win. Shane P. Davis, followed by his teammate Kenny Coppola, Paul Gillimore, Darren Mullins. Tony, what an epic way to close out Darlington as Paul Gillimore, in his first attempt here in the Moonshine Racing Series, Racing League, comes home with a podium slot. There's Barry Sanders in the 88. Certainly not the finish he was looking for as he comes home 19th, as I think he got clobbered.
This is what happened to him on the white flag lap. You see him in an angry pack of wolves right now. And just tries to make a lane change. The only thing is there was a car there.
Yeah, there was the front bumper.
And that's what ripped that right front off. The 16, nowhere to go.
Yeah, nowhere to go. That's a byproduct of overtime racing, Tony. You know, you just have so little space to work with. Very unfortunate for Barry Sanders. But that's how racing goes sometimes, is the teammates get another gift here at the end of a race. Overtime, late caution flags the savior in the 79. Daylights went for broke at the end as it's a smoke show right there at the start-finish line. The Lady in Black, Shane P. Davis, your winner. Kenny Coppola second. And Gillimore third, a podium finish. All 3 teammates right there, Tony. 1, 2, 3.
They are at that, as I believe you have our race winner with you now.
Shane P. Davis, Matt and Tony up in the booth. You got us, man. I'm here one more time. Shane, you got us. Tony and Matt up in the booth. Because he is burning the house down right now.
You got Kenny in the booth, not Shane.
I'm sorry about that, Ken. I screwed up. I do apologize. I grabbed the wrong guy.
It's tough to maneuver all these controls with all that smoke in the...
Grabbed the wrong guy. As now, come on, get up there. There we go. Now I believe you've got a race winner with you now.
Will the real Shane P. Davis please stand up? You got us, sir.
Hear me?
Shane,
we can hear you now.
There we go.
Shane Davis, you start off this race with a dominating race car. Once again here, coming down to the end of this race, Coppola leading, fading, a late race caution this time. Talk to me about that execution on pit road and walking away with a great epic win here at Darlington. Walk me through the closing moments of that race.
practicing a lot with this tire model, and I knew 2 tires was going to be the way to go. Something about this new tire model is just ripping on 2 tires with 5 or less to go. So my plan was to get right up onto Holden's bumper and try to just hold it there, get in a good clean pit stop, not overshoot it. Turned off my fuel and all that. Just took 2 tires on the right side and tried to control the race from there.
And that's absolutely what you did, is that car was lights out fast there for that green-white checkered stint. Congratulations on the win. Talk to me about this new tire model. Sounds like you got a really good grasp on it. What is it? What's really changed that's really helping you execute here and being strong given the conditions out there on the racetrack?
With this new tire model, you got to do a lot of tire conditioning, and Kenny Coppola is one of the best in the business at it. He ended up breaking a toe link there and kind of hurt him fall off a little bit, but he's really been helping us learning how to, you'll see me run different lines throughout the run and just working my right front and then working my rear and just trying to keep your tire wear even and keep a good, clean, fast race car. Just Darlington's so tough to pass on. I went ahead and let Holden go, and then I regretted it late in the run.
Yeah, thanks for that, Shane. I know you guys certainly put a ton of time and effort, throughout the course of the week, and that's all the little things that you guys do, which leads to your strong performances and sometimes all-out dominance on the racetrack. Congratulations here, winning at the Lady in Black Throwback Week. Great-looking paint scheme on that car as you tribute Davey Allison. Who do you want to thank? Who helps you get it done on that machine each and every week?
Team Watson Racing Setups. They put out some blazing racing setups. They put out multiple for anybody, anybody's driving style. Me, Kenny, Wayne, Chris all ran 4 different setups from them tonight. And DBR Racing, my brother Chris, he had a little tough luck there at the end. But other than that, Iron Horse Liveries makes some awesome paint schemes. The other one's Warrior Wraps. They make some awesome paint schemes for us. And you guys for putting on a great race.
Now, we certainly appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, the man with the plan knew he was going for 2. The moment he hit pit road, that's your winner tonight, Shane P. Davis. Tony, back to you, sir.
Well, joining me now is the man who led a good portion of the last half of this race and just came up a couple hundred feet short. Kenny Coppola, how bad was that car after you clattered the wall a couple times in the closing laps?
Yeah, the steering was shifted over to 2 o'clock. I hit the wall. It just broke something in there. Car wouldn't turn for me, and I kept trying to loosen the car up during the pit stops. It got a little bit tight out there with the temperature dropping and stuff. And I went a little bit too much, and then the car just got stupid loose on me and just didn't have the handle on it tonight. The car was really fast still, but once we got into the wall, it just killed any rotation the car had left.
Well, Kenny, the good news is you're going to be leaving for the All-Star break still 1 and 2 in the points with your teammate Shane. Is there anything you think you could have done different tonight? I mean, especially, had this race stayed green.
I probably could have tried saving a little more tire early in the run. Kyle, he was on the same equipment I was, same with Shane. He was kind of pushing me, and I wanted to keep the clean air. Clean air is pretty important in this car. But honestly, I probably should have practiced a lot more than I did. I ain't touched this place in a couple weeks. It's not really one of my favorite tracks, but happy Shane got the win. He's been running good all year. Had some problems the last few races, so real cool to see him get a W.
Well, Kenny, we go into the All-Star break next week. What are your thoughts going into North Wilkesboro?
Oh, it's going to be fun, man. I told the league, because we're not running there for officials this week, they got us at Texas, that I put a couple setups together and share them with everybody in the league so they're not trying to figure out how to set up a car in 1 week, and it's just for fun. Want to go out there, North Wilkesboro, be a good time, be a nice little fun step back from the points racing.
Kenny, that is awesome of you to do that, and it's guys like you that make leagues like this fun. We're going to let you go celebrate the 1-2 sweep of the podium with your team. Who do you need to thank before we let you go party?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys first and foremost for putting the broadcast on. It's always a great show. Look forward to watching them. And I want to thank my wife for allowing me to take a lot of time away from her and the kids to do this every week. I want to thank Team Watson Racing, Beast Mode Performance, Warrior Racing, Warrior Wraps, Martin Sports, and Bass Pro Shops.
Kenny Capola, congratulations on a podium here at Darlington. Best of luck to you next week in the All-Star.
Appreciate it, bud.
And Matt, I believe you've got the gentleman that had my favorite paint scheme on that car tonight with you now.
Paul Gillimore, Matt and Tony up in the booth. You got us, sir.
Yes, sir. I've got a copy.
Well, welcome the new guy on the box who happens to be one heck of a wheelman, has arrived in the Moonshiners Racing League. Paul, the lady in black, the first time that we've seen you in action in this series tonight. You couldn't have asked for a taller test, and yet you come home with a podium finish. How did you get that done here tonight?
Well, it's not really something I'd want to celebrate how I got that third there, because I love Chris dearly. He's a damn good friend, and he's a great racer. And I hated we even got together there coming out of 4. I'm trying to hold it as low as I possibly could. I'm trying to watch the replay to see how that went. But I was happy with the setup. Setup was great. Thanks to Watson Racing setups for that. It had a great long run speed. Felt like I had a couple of incidents there early to midway of the race. Had a little bit of optional damage to take care of. Once I got that kind of taken care of, I felt like we just kind of worked our way through. Everybody seemed to start getting kind of loose, wearing their stuff out, and just felt like my tires just stayed under me a good bit.
Yeah, I'll certainly say those tires stayed under you all race long. And I totally understand what you're saying about that contact there on the final lap. But outside of that, you were a solid contender over the course of this race. Tony and I talked about you a lot. Great looking paint scheme, by the way, throwing it back to Darrell Waltrip. And, you just put everyone on notice, I think, with that performance here tonight. Congratulations. With that being said, who do you want to thank on that 11 team? Who helps you get it done each and every week?
Well, first and foremost, Team Watson Racing setups. If you want to be fast, it's the place to be. Of course, I'd like to thank my team, Dark Tempest Motorsports, and as well as Cool Running Motorsports. Guys over there, such as Jeffrey. We've got Alonzo, Mr. Miller, Brandon Bikey. We've got some other guys like that. So just people that help me get better, and I'm just trying to, steadily get better. I haven't been doing this about a year and a half now, I guess. So just try to surround myself with good people like Kenny and these guys over at Watson, and just keep plugging along. And I appreciate everything they do and all the hard work they put in. And of course, Darrell Waltrip for the influence on the paint scheme. 1983. It takes me back to one of my first races at Charlotte, World 600.
No, you're about my age then.
Oh yeah, yes. I grew up. Grew up like 2 miles from Martinsville. We used to walk the train tracks back there all the time, and
nice.
there used to be a wooden fence around the turn 4 down there, and you could actually look through the cracks there and watch the race as a kid who couldn't afford a ticket. So, so I remember. Richard, watching Richard and Darrell and Bobby and all those guys. Cale, even when Cale would run short tracks back then. So. It was sometimes I dearly miss, honestly.
Absolutely.
Well, there you are, ladies and gentlemen, getting the piece, looking inside the NASCAR history books, getting a great vivid picture of what it was like back in the day on Throwback Week. Your third place finisher, Paul Gillimore, puts the entire series on notice with a phenomenal performance. Third place finish here tonight. And Tony, I can contest to what they're saying about the setups. This is not a paid promotion. Kenny gave me a setup for Charlotte, which was just so happened to be my very first breakthrough win in the Ghost Cup Series. That car was the best it ever drove at Charlotte. Their setups are golden, and I can tell how much time those guys put into those Watson setups each and every week. So I want to thank them for that as well. Tony, I believe we got to run through this field here one final time here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. As Shane Davis, Kenny Capola, Paul Gallimore, we already spoke to those three gentlemen. Darren Mullins is going to wrestle the spot away from his, Randy for 18th in points and possibly gain a couple with a fourth place finish. Tim Wortman Jr. rounding out your top five. Kyle Holden, not the finish he was hoping for, as he had a second and a half to the good when that caution came out, and then just self-inflicted wound on pit road, coming home in 6th. Wayne Bowen in 7th, Randy Mullins in 8th, Justin Belmonte 9th, Jordan Schmeech rounding out your top 10, Chris Davis, John Binder, Brandon Zimmerman, Nick King, and Daryl Klotz rounding out the top half of the field. Matt?
Yeah, Matt Mackin, Jeffrey Taylor, Paul Whitney, Barry Sanders, and Hunter Carmichael, they round out your top 20. Aaron Matthews, Chris Spear, Nicholas Atwood, Chris Vanderplatz making his return, and Darren Miller bring you to the top 25. And the rest of the way home tonight, Jamison Middle Miss didn't have the finish he was looking for, comes home 26th. Caden Norfry, 27th. Jeff Carson, who was so strong early on, heartbreak for him. He comes home 28th. 29th, Ryan Huff, and rounding out the field tonight of 30 competitors with 21 of Chad Sullivan.
So that is going to do it for us tonight. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications. Be sure to share these videos around with your social medias. It really does help grow the station. He's Matt Metler. I'm Tony Trapasso. Reminding ladies and gentlemen that as you walk down the road of life this week, and until we get a chance to meet again, do me a huge favor. Don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.